How could he be content? This was completely different from what he imagined. Not long after they left, Chen Boguan kept staring at the small dog in Yang Chen's arms. I have checked many times, it's just an ordinary puppy. After it grows up, it probably won't even reach the true martial realm. It has a unique spirit. Jian Wuk was also staring at the puppy. Jian Wuk, with his special perceptive abilities, had also been staring at the puppy in his brother's arms. He felt that there was a terrifying power hidden within the little dog. It was definitely not as ordinary as his brother thought. After spending 2 months in the Jaga Mountains, Yang Chen and the others sped up their pace. Suddenly, as if he had thought of something, Yang Chen said, "We should give the little thing a name." Jian Wuk, who seemed to have thought about it for a long time, said, "Brother, how about Little Vajra?" Little Vajra. Yang Chen pondered, this name doesn't suit the puppy at all. Xian Boguang laughed, "How about Dog Master?" This name goes with you and with the little girl. Yang Chen rolled his eyes. After thinking for a moment, he said, "Let's just call it Wangkai." Jian Wuk retorted, "Many rich families also name their dogs Wangkai. It's not unique enough." "How about Little Black?" Yang Chen's eyes lit up, "That's a good name. Simple and fitting. Little Black it is." The little spot kept barking loudly, vehemently protesting. Yang Chen slapped the little dog's head hard, "Shut up. From now on, you are Little Black." "Woo woo," Little Black cried, teary-eyed. "Don't bully the dog like that. I don't want this master. I want to go back." Yang Chen slapped it again. "What are you yapping about? So noisy." What Yang Chen didn't know was that the realmless emperor, hidden in the void, almost couldn't help but reveal herself and slap Yang Chen to death. As soon as they returned to Jaga, the three of them were shocked. The entire Jaga was in mourning, with ruins everywhere. Especially the commoners, the casualties were terrible. If it wasn't for the city guard's efforts, Jaga would have already ceased to exist. As Yang Chen, who was covered in stardust, returned to the south of the city, he was stunned. His worst fears had come true. The Yang family mansion was gone, replaced by a pile of rubble. Jian Wuk, unable to bear the sight, howled at the sky in despair. Yang Chen felt like all his energy had been drained. He sat down on the ground. "Chen boy." Suddenly, a shadow appeared not far away. Looking back, Yang Chen realized it was Yun Mushue's father. He asked, "Uncle Yu, do you know where my father is?" "Chen boy, don't worry, they are safe and have already left." Yu Qian suddenly lowered his voice and said, "They also told me to tell you, new sun falls 9 skies red, cultivate yourself to protect yourself. New sun falls 9 skies red, cultivate yourself to protect yourself." Yang Chen was very confused. What did his grandfather mean by this? "Xiao Shan. Where is Xiao Shan?" "Brother, it's okay." Jian Wuk, who was smiling, didn't care about any of this. As long as his family was safe, he was relieved. Yang Chen also concealed his grief. He was certain his father and grandfather were hiding something. "Chen boy, what are you planning to do? Why don't you come to my house for a while?" Yu Qian, seeing that Yang Chen and Jian Wuk were still young, wanted to recruit them. "No, thank you, Uncle Yu." Yang Chen politely declined. What happened in Jaga recently? Yu Qian sighed and shook his head. This is a long story. The officials are too ruthless. They colluded with the academy and the foreign forces. The General Huaishan is dead, and they used some method to become the masters of Jaga. From now on, Jaga will be the Guan family's domain. Of course, Yang Chen wouldn't forget the Guan family. It was Guan's family who had brought the wolf riders, leading to the destruction of Jaga. Moreover, it was because of Guan Mingho's persecution that he, his master, and Wuk were forced to enter the Jaga Mountains. Hearing this, Yang Chen felt lost. Although his master had been saved, his cultivation was crippled. It was obvious he couldn't return to the academy. What's more, the current academy is probably also the Guan family's territory. Without waiting for Yang Chen to ask, Chen said, "We can't stay here, let's go to Tian Nan." Tian Nan. Yang Chen's eyes lit up. "That's right, let's go to Tian Nan to find Lingy." Obviously, many of the 5 cultivators who went to the Wall of Lament 2 months ago would survive. If they saw Yang Chen, it would definitely cause a sensation and link Yang Chen to the Divine Altar inheritance. Especially now that the academy is chaotic, many powerful cultivators from various parts of Tian Nan are here. Yang Chen cannot expose himself. "Little K, go find out if there are any flying devices recently heading to Tian Nan City. If there are, buy 3 tickets. As he spoke, Jian Wuk, who was covered in golden light, nodded. Within it, there were some small spirit stones. The distance to Tian Nan City is tens of thousands of miles. Without powerful beasts, the only way is to take a flying device. A short while later, Jian Wuk returned to the ruins of Yang's home. Jian Wuk raised the 3 metal tokens in his hand. Jian Wuk added, "A new travel agency has opened. There will be a small flying device heading to Tian Nan City tonight. I have bought 3 tickets. After saying that, Jianhua gave the storage ring to Qian Boguang, and there were still many small spirit stones remaining. As night fell, Yang Chen and his group, wearing hats, arrived at the travel agency. Upon arriving, Yang Chen was astonished. A white-robed staff member took out a small shuttle-shaped device, exquisite and palm-sized, emitting a faint white light. With a surge of true energy into the device, the shuttle grew bigger against the wind, becoming a giant ship. Having already learned some basic formations, Yang Chen stepped into the device, and a wave of emotion surged in his heart. One day, he would also be able to make such a device. Inside the flying device, there were small compartments, each capable of holding 3 people. Yang Chen, Jianhua, and Qian Boguang were in one compartment, along with Little Black, which was a bit crowded. Yang Chen was still quite excited to be leaving the academy. He smiled at Qian Boguang, who had a worried look. Master, we're about to see Lingy, why aren't you happy? Qian Boguang gave a big roll of his eyes. After a while, Qian Boguang probed, Kid, Tian Nan is not like the academy, it's not easy to get by. Moreover, it will be a bit difficult to see Lingy. Yang Chen was stunned. What did that mean? After a bit of thought, Yang Chen tentatively asked, Master, could it be that you were kicked out after doing something to offend your wife? Qian Boguang was furious, his teeth grinding. If his strength was still here, he would have killed this kid. Master, Wak and I have never seen the world, why don't you tell us about Tian Nan City? Seeing that his master's face was not good, Yang Chen guessed that it might be because his relationship with his wife was not good, so he changed the subject. Tian Nan, a good place. After a sigh, Qian Boguang, with a complex expression, said, Tian Nan is a city where clans gather. Among them, some ancient clans have profound heritages, with geniuses appearing in every generation. They are ruthless in order to fight for resources, just like those elite families that you have seen. Being talented is not enough, you need resources, you need opportunities. Otherwise, it will be difficult to break free from the clan's control, so you need to endure. I was unlucky and lost in a certain competition, so I ended up in my current state. But I haven't lost yet, there is still hope. As if to vent his emotions, Qian Boguang talked a lot, and Yang Chen and Jianhua benefited greatly. 3 days later, Yang Chen and his group arrived, landing at an extremely prosperous port. Except for the flying device, Yang Chen was amazed at the various tall buildings that emerged one after another, with no end in sight. In the sky, powerful cultivators often flew past, their auras overwhelming. On the streets, most of the people walking by were cultivators, and even powerful ones were common. Among them, there were even some strong individuals with concealed auras. Even in the evening, the various shops on both sides of the street were still doing brisk business. After witnessing this, Qian Boguang, with a blank expression, whispered, Kid, let's go, I will take you to a place first. What good place? Yang Chen was curious. Qian Boguang, not replying, walked forward, his heart actually very excited. Lingy, my beloved, I am back. Yang Chen and Jianhua, carrying Little Black, looked at each other, not knowing why Qian Boguang suddenly became strange. Following Qian Boguang, after about an hour, Yang Chen saw an extremely magnificent manor. Even though they were hundreds of meters away, Yang Chen could clearly feel the heavy aura emanating from the manor. Master, there are 4 golden characters on the gate of the manor. Duanmu Ho Residence. Yang Chen was stunned. He looked at the imposing manor, and then at Qian Boguang, who had a heavy expression, and counted the characters on the gate. Qian Boguang, frowning, asked, Kid, what are you doing? Master, you are so amazing. Looking at Qian Boguang with admiration, Yang Chen said, Did you hook up with all the girls in there and even had kids? Master, you're too awesome. Qian Boguang, who was spitting out blood, almost choked when he heard these words. As if he didn't see the black lines on Qian Boguang's face, Yang Chen continued, Master, if I go in like this to look for Lingy, what will be the consequences? Qian Boguang gave Yang Chen a contemptuous look and sneered, First, you can't even get in. Second, if you reveal your relationship with Lingy, I can't guarantee you won't be beaten to death. Okay, forget it. Yang Chen said with a relieved smile, knowing that my wife is inside is enough. They will come crawling to beg me soon. This time, it was Qian Boguang's turn to give Yang Chen a thumbs up. Okay, let's go. I've shown you the place. It's up to you to figure out the rest. Qian Boguang knew very well that Yang Chen was acting like this to make him feel better. Arriving at the gate of the Duanmu Ho residence, knowing that the woman he loved and his daughter were inside but unable to meet them, the feeling was extremely painful. Leaving the Duanmu Ho residence, Yang Chen was also somewhat determined. He was resolved to bring out his wife and Lingy in a grand and honorable manner. Following that, they passed through several streets. Yang Chen and Jianhua followed Qian Boguang to another manor, Luo residence. Looking at the Luo residence from the outside, Yang Chen was quite surprised. Although this residence was far less grand than the Duanmu Ho residence, it was still quite impressive in Tian Nan City, obviously not belonging to an ordinary person. Seeing that Yang Chen and his group were somewhat shabby, the guards at the gate stopped them and asked haughtily, "What do you want?" Qian Buoguang stepped forward and said, "Just say that Qian Buoguang came to visit." After a while, the guard went inside. Soon, a young man wearing luxurious clothes came out, looking under 20 years of age, with a handsome appearance. The delicate youth bowed to Qian Buoguang, "Senior Qian, long time no see. My father asked me to come out and greet you. Please, come in, ha ha." Qian Buoguang smiled and said to the delicate youth, "Time really flies. I didn't expect that, Luo Yun, you've grown so big." Yang Chen, following behind Qian Buoguang, was looking around the residence while thinking, "It seems that my chief master has some connections in Tian Nan city." After a round of greetings in the main hall of the Luo residence, Yang Chen got to know the masters of this place, Luo Mingyuan, and his children, Luo Yun and Luo Yuan. To Yang Chen's surprise, he learned that Luo Mingyuan was actually his chief master's junior brother, having once learned under the same master. After exchanging pleasantries, Qian Buoguang went straight to the point. "Mingyuan, Yang Chen and Jianwuk are my disciples. I hope to settle them here temporarily. You also know that these two children have special physiques. I don't want them to be implicated. If I take them to the end of year assessment, they can be enrolled." Before Qian Buoguang could finish speaking, Luo Yuan couldn't help but laugh. With their capabilities, they can pass the assessment. Luo Yun, who was still amiable just now, also said with a cold face, "Senior Qian, it would be harmful to put them in our Luo residence. If we anger the Duanmu family, our Luo family can't afford to offend them." Luo Mingyuan, who was sitting in the main seat, pretended to be hesitant after hearing his daughter and son's opinions, remaining silent. "Master, we can't lack dignity, let's go." Yang Chen saw that his master looked a little uncomfortable. Nodding, Qian Buoguang looked at Luo Mingyuan and said, "Sorry for disturbing you." "You're too kind," Luo Mingyuan said with a hypocritical smile. "Luo Yun, see him off." Leaving the Luo residence, Yang Chen, afraid that Qian Buoguang would go to ask for help from others, quickly said, "Master, let's find a hotel to settle down first." With a sigh, Qian Buoguang said despondently, "Let's leave the city." Leave the city. Yang Chen was puzzled. It shouldn't be a problem to stay at a hotel for a short time. Why do we need to leave the city? I used to have a house under Xujin Mountain outside the city. I don't know what it looks like now, let's go take a look. Yang Chen was a bit surprised. If they had such a good place, why did they need to lower themselves and ask for help from outsiders? Leaving the city, Yang Chen and his group spent most of the day before they arrived at the foot of Xujin Mountain. There was a town here, and it was quite lively. Arriving at the north side of Xujin Mountain, Qian Buoguang pointed to a not-Sosmal manor, looking quite surprised. Inside the manor, the lights were bright, which clearly indicated there were people inside. "Master," Yang Chen looked at Qian Buoguang with a questioning look. "This should be Master's home, is it occupied?" The manor was decorated simply but tastefully, with a wooden plaque beside the gate with the words Xujin Garden written on it. "Little K, you call out." Qian Buoguang's expression was grim. He wanted to see who dared to occupy his Xujin Garden. Just as Jianwuk went forward to call out, a little girl, about 7 or 8 years old, with a spirited look, approached Jianwuk. She asked, "Big brother, are you also here to find the doctor?" Hearing the little girl's words, Qian Buoguang seemed to recall something and quickly urged, "Kid, let's go." As the gate opened, a cold voice echoed, and a beautiful woman with a cold face walked out. The cold-faced beauty, who looked less than years old, stared at Qian Buoguang resentfully. "Qian Buoguang, I thought you were dead." "I'm not dead." Qian Buoguang seemed afraid to face her, looking extremely embarrassed. Seeing this, Yang Chen vaguely understood that this ice beauty was his chief master's old friend. And judging by the way she glared at him, the master seemed to have wronged her. Clearly, she sensed that something was wrong with Qian Bang's aura. The ice beauty released her divine sense, locking it onto Qian Buoguang. "You, why have you become like this? Even if your 5 spirits are crippled, your cultivation shouldn't be completely destroyed. Could it be that the hidden assassins attacked you again? I accidentally provoked a terrifying figure. It's a blessing that I managed to keep my life." Qian Buoguang smiled bitterly. He couldn't even tell the truth. If this woman knew the truth, she might try to kill all those elite families. The ice beauty pointed at Yang Chen and Jianwuk, asking, "Who are these two thieving, raided brats?" "My newly accepted disciples, their talents are not bad." Qian Buoguang replied, while thinking of how to escape this place. This woman was someone he couldn't afford to offend. He was afraid. Yang Chen rolled his eyes. "What do you mean by thieving and raided? How could her crooked eyes be associated with being thieving and raided?" The woman stared at Qian Buoguang, making him feel a bit nervous. She randomly mentioned an old matter. "You still haven't let go after all these years, huh? You've already become a useless cripple. Go find someone who is naturally more outstanding than me." Before Qian Buoguang could respond, the ice beauty became enraged. "I'm already being coveted by you, who else would want me? Yang Chen widened his eyes, looking at Qian Bangguan with great interest. I never thought that my cheap master was so troubled. Is this a soap opera? Qian Bangguan smiled bitterly. Meiru, you have to be reasonable. Reason with you. Not a chance. You're going to be my lackey for the rest of your life. If you're not going to reason, then I'm not going to bother. Qian Bangguan, if you dare to leave today, I will break your legs. In the middle of the night, Qian Bangguan and a middle-aged woman began to argue over something, and the quarrel was extremely fierce. Yang Chen and Jian Wok watched from the side. The show was incredibly entertaining. During their argument, Qian Bangguan and Jing Yulua showed no mercy, revealing all of each other's dirty secrets. Yang Chen chuckled secretly, feeling refreshed. I will never offend my cheap master again, I've grasped too much of his dirt. It was as if Qian Bangguan and Jing Yulua were releasing years of pent-up resentment. The atmosphere suddenly became harmonious. Although their quarrel was not as shocking as before, they were still treating Yang Chen and Jian Wok like air. This little brat is still thinking the same. Yang Chen turned to Jian Wok, a master is still a master. I still have much to learn about picking up beautiful women. What's there to learn? Women are too troublesome. Yang Chen shook his head and walked into the courtyard. The place was incredibly quiet. The flowers and trees were clearly well maintained. The courtyard was spacious and had many practice rooms. A beautiful woman in a green dress brought Yang Chen and Jian Wok to their assigned residence. Please. Seeing that the beautiful woman was about to leave, Yang Chen quickly stepped forward to talk to her. What's your relationship with Jing Yulua? Overwhelmed by Yang Chen's abrupt question, the green-dressed beauty blushed and fled. She's too shy, right? Yang Chen stared at her retreating figure. But, her figure isn't bad. Although not as alluring as a fox, it's still quite attractive. The next morning, Yang Chen, who had gotten up early, found Qian Bangguan, who was staring blankly at a pot of dream flowers in the courtyard. Pretending to be curious, Yang Chen walked towards Qian Bangguan. Master, are you reminiscing about old times? Or are you missing Master's beautiful wife already? Whatever you say. It's nothing. Qian Bang's face instantly turned black. At that moment, a burst of laughter came from nearby. Qian Bangguan, is he really your disciple? Jing Yulua looked at Qian Bangguan and Yang Chen with great interest. Yang Chen, without thinking, spoke to Jing Yulua, Master's wife, come here. Jing Yulua laughed happily, looking at Yang Chen, she found him much more pleasing to the eye than last night. Seeing that Qian Bangguan was about to become embarrassed, Yang Chen pretended to hesitate, then pointed at Qian Bangguan and said, Master's wife. Actually, Master misses you very much. Continue, I'm listening, Jing Yulua said, as if she saw through Yang Chen, and stared at him with a smile. Under her gaze, Yang Chen tried his best to act sincere. You know, Master's wife, you really wronged Master. You really can't wrong Master. Master likes to drink dreamflower tea. Every time I brew tea, he always complains that my tea is not good and reveals a nostalgic look. I can be sure, Master is definitely missing you, and he misses you a lot. The furious Qian Bangguan interrupted Yang Chen. Yang Chen then noticed that Jing Yulua, who was just smiling, now had a cold expression, and angrily walked away. Clearly, Yang Chen had realized he had messed up again. Qian Bangguan, his eyes blazing with anger, Li Kuei's Yang Chen hurriedly explained, Master, I didn't mean to, I just wanted to help, but, do you want me to die faster? Qian Bangguan truly regretted his decision to take in such a disciple. Master, as the saying goes, sisters-in-law are easy to get along with. Hurry up and coax her, then everything will be fine. Yang Chen and Jian Wok settled down in the Xujin garden. Almost a month had passed. In order to get stronger, Yang Chen barely slept, throwing himself into a frantic cultivation pace. Most of his time was spent practicing and trying to understand his 5 spirits. The rest of his time was spent on comprehending cultivation techniques. As for the 3 treasures of the 5 spirits, he just tried it and gave up. Activating just the first of the treasures almost exhausted his entire qi, making it impossible for him to practice. Besides Qian Bangguan, Yang Chen, and Jian Wok, there was also Jing Yiren in Xujin garden. She was the beautiful woman in green, Ming Jinghan, one of Jing Yuliua's sisters. Because she was studying in Tian Nan Academy, she only came back once a month. The relationship between Qian Bangguan and Jing Yulua was still hot and cold. This was the Zhangwu courtyard. Zhang Ren was in charge of this place. It's still Yang Chen brewing tea. But, this time it's not dreamflower tea, but the great redfish tea. It was something that can often calm one's mind and stabilize qi. It was the main type of tea in Tian Nan City. As it should be. The first cup of red cloud tea is for Xiao He. The little guy has become a turncoat. Ever since he arrived at Xujin, he has abandoned Yang Chen, and has become the pet of Jing Yulua. His status is now above everyone else. Seeing Xiao He swallowing the first cup of red cloud tea, Yang Chen wondered, does that little guy even know how to taste tea? AI, it seems like Yang Chen doesn't understand. This kind of innocent and silly approach has too much appeal to women. Patting Xiaohei's head, Jing Yuliu's face was filled with a smile, looking at Yang Chen with a happy expression. I have inquired about this matter. If these two brats want to enter Wufu, it's almost impossible unless some big shot from Wufu personally intervenes, or wait until the academy opens its enrollment. After drinking a mouthful of red cloud tea, Chen Banguang didn't speak but just nodded. However, Jing Yuliu's expression changed and stared at Chen Banguang with a smile. If you can seek help from your teacher or your uncle, then these two brats' matters would be easily resolved. What do you mean, seeking help from them? Chen Banguang said, puzzled. How could I have the face? Unable to bear it anymore, Yang Chen chimed in, Master, isn't it good for you to practice at Xujin Garden? Why do you have to go to the Tian Nan Wufu? Chen Banguang shook his head with some frustration. Jing Yulua looked at the clueless Yang Chen, you are too ignorant. Don't treat the Tian Nan Wufu so lightly. Your master's situation, I've heard about it. The only way out is to enter the Wufu. Yang Chen was utterly confused. For a mouthful of great redfish tea, they'll have to slowly explain to you. Jing Yulua stated, there are 3 reasons. You and your master have some grudges with the elite families. It's only a matter of time before this gets out. If they know that you're still alive, will they let you off? The Tian Nan Wufu is considered the holy land of martial arts in Tian Nan. Its status is extremely high. Only by becoming a student there can you ensure your safety. This tiny Xujin garden cannot protect you. Looking at the somewhat clueless Yang Chen, Jing Yulua continued, secondly, the Wufu has the best cultivation resources in all of Tian Nan. All the talents of Tian Nan, who have some success, are from the Wufu. So, you two brats want to quickly improve your cultivation, the best path is to enter Wufu. After reaching this point, Jing Yulua paused, her beautiful face showing a hint of anger. That little fox Jing, is the core of our Wufu's winter moon. I don't know what heaven was thinking. It led the old fox to severely injure your master, leaving him with only half his life. And now the little fox has also fallen to a pitiful state. You're doomed. I reckon your ending will be worse than Chenbang's. Yang Chen, eager to find the keyword, didn't care about anything else and focused on his own thoughts. If Lingy was in the depths of the imperial palace, he would have little hope of meeting her. But it was different in the Wu mansion. In going to the Wu mansion, Yang Chen, barely containing his excitement, couldn't wait any longer. Jing Han was speechless. It's okay if you're in a hurry, Jing Yuluo said, but wait for little Han to come back. Shall take you to the Wu mansion. Yang Chen was filled with anticipation. Today, Jing Yuluo, carrying a happy-looking Xiaohei, slowly arrived at the bamboo house. The group made way for her. Even the usually arrogant and flirtatious disciples all greeted her respectfully. Mistress, has little Han returned? Jing Yuluo nodded with a smile. I've told her that early tomorrow morning, you'll go with her to the Wu mansion. Don't cause trouble. Thank you, mistress. Yang Chen happily bowed and saluted, acting like he had applied honey to his mouth. Tell me, Jing Yuluo suddenly lowered her voice. What's going on between you and Jiang Shang? Yang Chen smiled knowingly, because he knew the next question would be the real reason for this meeting. Why is Qianbang's cultivation so high? Jing Yuluo had asked about Chen Banguang many times. Could it be related to his clan? You must admit that there's a secret. If master doesn't tell her disciples, there must be a reason. If the real reason is known, will it lead her to fight against the elite families? Dealing with the elite families is a long-term plan. Is it really because of me that he is crippled? It was my fault. Once, during practice, I encountered a very powerful demon, who destroyed my martial spirit, and after escaping, I ended up like this. Jing Yuluo's expression turned a bit ugly. Demons. How can your crippled spirit be healed? Yang Chen, knowing the answer, still asked. Only treasures that can nurture the soul can work, Jing Yuluo said, with a helpless expression. Such treasures are too rare, even our Eastern Tu Wang clan might not have them. With a determined glint in his eyes, Yang Chen was resolute. He would definitely obtain the treasure to nurture his soul. The next morning, Jing Han led Yang Chen and Jian Wuk out of the table-setting area. On the way to the southern Wu mansion, Yang Chen, with a lot of sweet talk, managed to get a lot of information about the southern Wu mansion from this beautiful girl who was afraid of trouble. Most importantly, Yang Chen learned that Qian Lingy was very famous in the Wu mansion. On one hand, it was because of Qian Lingy's identity as the daughter of the Duan Hongmo clan, and on the other hand because of her extreme talent. After entering the academy, she was favored by the important figures of the middle courtyard, becoming a core member. It was also because of Qian Lingy's beautiful appearance. She became a popular figure, like a goddess, and her admirers were countless. The southern Wu mansion was divided into 4 regions. East, South, West, and North, with the East region said to be the strongest. When Yang Chen and Jian Wuk arrived at the southern Wu mansion, they were stunned. If Yang Chen had to describe it, it was like a majestic giant. It was even more magnificent than the so-called Duan Hongho clan. Just the training plaza in front of the main gate of the Wu Mansion was astonishing. Even without the towering buildings, it had a magnificent aura. Including Yang Chen's group, everyone standing in front of the plaza felt a sense of insignificance. Numerous beauties entered and exited, making Yang Chen dizzy. This is a place where one cannot easily make a sound. Yang Chen understood why his master had asked him to come and broaden his horizons. Amazing! He saw two familiar figures. It was Luo Yu and Luo Yu Huan. Luo Yu and Luo Yu Huan, who also noticed Yang Chen and Jian Wok, revealed a hint of disdain on their faces. A girl who was with Luo Yu looked at Yang Chen with disgust and asked, Luo Yu, do you know that pretty boy? Just a piece of trash. I heard he's from a poor little town tens of thousands of miles away, Luo Yu said loudly. I just saw him smile. His smile is so annoying. Jian Wok sighed, knowing his brother was about to cause trouble. Yang Chen didn't even look at Luo Yu. He turned and asked, Sister Han, if I beat her, would I get in trouble? Jing Han was stunned for a moment. Beat whom? At the gate of the Wu Mansion. Seeing that Jing Han didn't react, Yang Chen continued, Sister Han, if I beat up that brat, would the Wu Mansion interfere? Jing Han shook her head. The Wu Mansion encourages competition between disciples. And it has to be agreed upon by both parties to challenge each other. Jing Han sensed something was wrong. You are not a disciple of the Wu Mansion, you shouldn't, it's really not good. Yang Chen laughed, I like this rule of the Wu Mansion. Yang Chen took a step forward, pointed at Luo Yu, and arrogantly said, Hey, you, surnamed Luo, come over here and die. Today, I will teach you a lesson called, beat the dog by first hitting the owner. With these words, it was as if the sky had been torn open. He was so arrogant that many of the disciples entering the Wu Mansion came over. Luo Yun and the others were dumbfounded. They never thought a country bumpkin would dare to challenge them at the gates of the Wu Mansion. He was courting death. Luo Yu Huan sneered. I didn't know who begged my family to take him in. You poor things, even the servants of my Luo family are more noble than you. Although I never hit a woman, not hitting trash like you is against reason. Yang Chen said, You. Luo Yu Huan's face was filled with resentment. As a daughter of the Luo family, in the great city of Tian Nan, she had always been respected. When has she been called a trash like this? This brat's mouth is too sharp, someone teach him a lesson. Jian Wok, who couldn't hold back any longer, took a step forward, his body erupting with power. A black light flashed on his body, exuding an imposing and domineering aura. Come and die. He roared, This is my 3 styles of true martial arts. Yang Chen, who was arrogant, smirked, To deal with you, there is no need for me to make a move myself. Seeing Luo Yu and Luo Yu Huan's arrogant expressions, a skinny teenager who had always been infatuated with Luo Yu Huan, couldn't hold back and rushed out. I will take care of this fool for you. Jian Wok shook his head. Your body is too weak, you can all come at me. Yang Chen was surprised. He never thought Jian Wok had learned his arrogant attitude. Jing Han, seeing Yang Chen and Jian Wok acting so boldly, was completely stunned. They were always so well behaved at the training area. What happened to them? What kind of stimulation did they get? Jing Han was not very familiar with Luo Yu, but as fellow students in the outer courtyard, she knew their strengths and weaknesses. Luo Yu's group had 6 people, and each of their cultivation levels was at least at the 3rd stage of true martial arts. One of them was even a powerful heavenly Taoist. Jian Wok must be crazy. Jing Han, with only the 5th stage of true martial arts, could do nothing in this situation. Luo Yu laughed and said coldly, although the Wu Mansion prohibits internal fights from causing permanent injuries, these 2 poor bumpkins are not disciples of the Wu Mansion. Since they are so eager to die, let's fulfill their wishes. People were generally watching, but Jian Wok could not tolerate any longer. He locked onto the opponent and rushed forward. He still remembered the Luo family's provocation. He just hadn't spoken about it all this time. Wanting to show off in front of Luo Yu Huan, the skinny teenager didn't put Jian Wok in his eyes at all and attacked. Frost twin fists. An ice roar. The teenager's fists were covered with a layer of white frost, with a chilling aura. The arrogant teenager, exuding an icy aura, rushed toward Jian Wok. Yang Chen didn't expect this insignificant-looking teenager to be a heavenly Taoist, and a water attribute heavenly Taoist. Jian Wok acted as if he hadn't seen the teenager's imposing aura. He didn't dodge, but charged straight ahead. The teenager's fist, brimming with spiritual power, slammed into Jian Wok's chest. What? The teenager inhaled sharply, staring at the unfazed Jian Wok. Impossible. He should be destroyed. How could he receive my frost twin fists unscathed? He didn't even take a step back. How did he nullify the chilling aura? Not only the teenager, but everyone watching was shocked. Jian Wok ignored their shock. His powerful fist landed right on the teenager's face. The skinny teenager flew out, spitting a mix of blood and broken teeth. It was a mixture of blood, shattered teeth, and food remnants. He was completely beaten up, even his hat was crooked. Seeing the miserable state of the skinny teenager, Yang Chen smiled. Little Shui, didn't I ask you to fix his mouth? Why did you make it even worse? Jian Wuk touched his head and said to the skinny teenager, sorry, want me to try again? I didn't really aim well that time. The skinny teenager fainted, his eyes rolling back. Luo Yu, who hadn't put Jian Wuk in his eyes, had his expression changed drastically. At this time, more and more people were watching from the Wu Mansion's grand entrance. Some bold beauties looked at the dashing Jian Wuk, wondering who he was. So handsome, so powerful, and cool. I'm a little smitten, what should I do? More guys looked at Jian Wuk, curious why he was fine after taking that punch. How did he dissolve the frost energy? I must say, you succeeded in making him angry. Luo Yun flew up, his face grim, red energy swirling. The temperature around the sand rapidly increased. His cultivation has surprisingly reached the 4th level of true martial realm. Luo Yun manifested his martial spirit, a blazing eagle. A natural fire-type spirit passed down from the Luo family. Brother is in trouble, Luo Yun is seriously angry. It's hard to say, the black-clothed guy might have some hidden cards. Wasn't he supposed to be at the 3rd level of true martial realm? The difference in cultivation is too big. The onlookers were excited, eager for the two to fight to the death. As Luo Yun's aura intensified, Jian Wuk remained unfazed, counting with his fingers and shaking his head. One is not enough, let them all come. Jian Wuk's words stunned everyone. Is this guy really dumb? Facing a fire-type heavenly Taoist 1 level higher, how could he be so arrogant? Jing Han took a few steps back, pretending he didn't know them. Jian Wuk was courting death. Luo Yun's face turned sinister. Fire energy gathered in his palms. Rapid fire palm. A huge fire palm print locked onto Jian Wuk, hurtling towards him. Luo Yun is easily in the top of the south courtyard. His palm technique is probably at the small success level. The rapid fire palm is common for fire-type practitioners. Luo Yun is really going all out. The black-clothed guy is in trouble. Ignoring the comments, Jian Wuk's body was engulfed in black light as he took a step forward. Jian Wuk directly threw a punch, colliding with the fire palm. The black-clothed guy is in trouble. How can his fist possibly withstand such a fiery palm? Dodge! Quickly! Seeing Jian Wuk's reckless move, some pretty girls became anxious, even reminding him. Clearly, they were interested in him. In an instant, Jian Wuk's fist collided with the fire palm print, creating a huge explosive sound. How is this possible? No way! Unbelievable! Jian Wuk remained unfazed. His fist was not even scratched, while Luo Yun's palm was scattered. Luo Yun was stunned. Who is this monster he is facing? He broke his rapid fire palm with just physical strength. This is not logical. Yang Chen smiled, knowing that Jian Wuk started cultivating the demon body after reaching the true martial realm. His physical strength was beyond comprehension. While Luo Yun was stunned, Jian Wuk wouldn't be polite. He dashed forward, grabbing Luo Yun's wrist. Jian Wuk lifted him up and slammed him into the stone ground. The impact made Luo Yun dizzy. Then, Jian Wuk raised his left foot and stepped on Luo Yun's chest. If he applied even a little force, Luo Yun would die. You like to talk, ha! Jian Wuk's fist struck Luo Yun's mouth, like a hammer hitting an egg. Luo Yun's world turned black, red, white. Everyone was stunned. Many people gasped, a strange fear rising in their hearts. This is too brutal. Utterly brutal. Luo Yun was terrified, completely losing his arrogance. His screams were full of fear. Luo Yunhuan didn't realize that his disaster was coming. Jian Wuk kicked the unconscious Luo Yun away and appeared before him. He punched Luo Yunhuan's mouth 3 times. Luo Yunhuan collapsed on the ground. He was used to being spoiled, but encountering someone like Jian Wuk, who was not afraid of anyone, was his misfortune. Afterward, Jian Wuk, with an expressionless face, returned to Yang Chen's side. Brother, they are not obedient. Yang Chen, acting displeased, scolded, I only told you to hit their mouths. Why did you beat them so badly? Everyone was dumbfounded. Who are these 2 people? One brutal, the other shameless. Yang Chen, seemingly dissatisfied, looked at the defeated Luo Yun and Luo Yunhuan and said, quickly go home to your elders, you're useless. Yang Chen was actually worried. Even if Luo Yun died, they wouldn't dare tell Luo Mingyuan, or they'd suffer even more. Yang Chen, who was eager to fight, was a bit disappointed. He hasn't even done anything. Jing Han weakly stepped forward and whispered, you two should go back while you still can. Yang Chen shook his head. He hasn't found the fox mirror, how can he go back? But seeing Jing Han's anxious face, Yang Chen asked, doesn't the rule allow competition between disciples of the same grade? Because we are not academy disciples, it's an exception. Jing Han glared at Yang Chen, is that what you call a competition? The The rules don't matter, but Luo Yun is just an ordinary disciple. If news of this reaches the South Courtyard, those powerful elites will make trouble, even the core disciples might get involved. If you want to live, go back quickly. Yang Chen suddenly became interested. How powerful are the elite disciples? Are they very strong? Even the core disciples are nothing special. Oh right, Li Lingxi is a core disciple from the East Courtyard. Jing Han sighed, each core disciple is a favored child of heaven, far stronger than people like Luo Yun. Some have even reached the 9th level of the true martial realm. Older core disciples are all at the martial lord level. Yang Chen understood. He thought reaching the true martial realm was impressive, but the core disciples were at the 9th level. Yang Chen was confident in himself and Jianhuaq, but he knew they couldn't defeat true martial realm experts at higher levels. You should go back. Because of the promise, Yang Chen firmly said, we are not going back. The Worlden Master said, we must explore the Wu Academy. Jing Han rolled his eyes, you just want to find Li Lingxi, right? Yang Chen brazenly admitted it. Li Lingxi is a core disciple of the East Courtyard. You can't get into the core area. What? Yang Chen was stunned. Jing Han nodded, the 4 courtyards all have core areas. Non-core disciples can't enter. Let's go in and take a look first. If there is no way, then we will go back. Yang Chen, filled with excitement, ignored Jing Han and went inside. Jing Han, helpless, had to follow, not wanting to see them cause any more trouble. The Tian Nan Wu Academy was divided into 4 courtyards. The relationships between them were not good. Conflicts were common between instructors and disciples, but it is not okay to be caught by an elder. The 3 of them had not gone far when they were stopped. Seeing the young disciples in front, Jing Han, also from the South Courtyard, turned pale. Jing Han was completely defeated. He didn't expect Luo Yun to call out the strongest elite disciples. Seeing their menacing aura, Yang Chen asked Jing Han, can we still escape? What do you think? Jing Han cursed Yang Chen internally. No retreating. The nonchalant Yang Chen smiled, little K, it wasn't fun before, right? These guys look stronger. Go all out. The sight of Jianhuaq, Luo Yun, and Luo Yunhuan made the youths angry. Arrogant fool. Cripple him. But leave him alive. Luo Yun shouted. The young men, not holding back, charged toward Jianhuaq, using wind, fire, sword energy. Yang Chen seemed calm, but he was worried for Jianhuaq. He didn't expect that the 5 youths attacking Jianhuaq all had cultivation above the 4th level of true martial realm. The leader was at the 6th level. Moreover, they are all heavenly Taoists. The heavenly Taoists here were very strong. Seeing Jianhuaq being surrounded, Luo Yun and Luo Yunhuan led some disciples to attack Yang Chen. You think I am weak? Yang Chen laughed. His sword spirit appeared. And his entire body exuded a yin-yang energy, the Fei Yun Pong. A top student, Luo Yun, along with several others, surrounded Yang Chen and unleashed the Fei Yun Palm once more. Yang Chen chuckled coldly, completely ignoring the rapidly approaching palm strikes. His hands began to move rapidly, forming hand seals. Suddenly, golden light flashed, and with a flick of his fingers, several crimson sword energies were released, piercing through the air. The terrifying sword energy pierced through Luo Yun's palm, causing him to turn pale and dispersing his spirit power in palm imprints. Luo Yun's palm was bleeding profusely. And he retreated in terror. This guy was also a heavenly Taoist, a sword cultivator with a fire attribute spirit. It was too terrifying. Luo Yun thought that if the sword energy had pierced his dantian, neck or chest, he would have died. His companions realized they were in danger, and were quickly trying to retreat, but it was too late. Almost every one of them was struck by a sword. Luo Yuan was even worse, though he wasn't injured. The sword energy grazed his scalp, and half of his hair was shorn off, leaving him looking like a bald. Luo Yuan screamed hysterically, almost fainting. How could this be? He didn't expect Yang Chen to be so powerful and ruthless. If the sword energy had been a little out of control, it could have killed them. If someone died, it would be a huge problem. Seeing that Yang Chen had finished his fight, Jianhuaq also unleashed his power on the main battlefield. A black light enveloped his body, making him seem invincible as he charged into the crowd, beating the other students like a raging wolf. Many onlookers were stunned. Where did these two come from? Too strong. They are actually beating the elite students of the inner court. The eastern courtyard has recruited some real monsters. Ha, the southern courtyard is in trouble this time. They are losing even with so many people. Seeing the increasing number of onlookers, Yang Chen knew it was bad and quickly called Jianhuaq. He told Jianhuaq in a low voice, things have gotten out of hand. If we meet a powerful opponent, tell them I'm preparing to run. Looking at Yang Chen's nervous expression, those who hated him were surprised. thinking that these two arrogant fellows actually knew fear. After the instructions were given, Yang Chen said to the defeated students of the Southern Courtyard, so-called Southern Courtyard, "That's all you've got. I heard the Southern Courtyard has some core students. Next time, let your core students come out. You're too weak. It's disappointing. Remember, my name is Yang Chen." With a smug look, Yang Chen winked at Jianhuo, and the two quickly left. Soon, the news of the defeat of the Southern Courtyard elite disciples spread throughout the Wu Academy. If it was just a dispute among the students of the academy, no one would pay too much attention since fighting was common. However, the news was that the elite students of the Southern Courtyard had been defeated by two outsiders, and they had been thoroughly beaten. Moreover, the other party was even more audacious, publicly stating that they wanted to challenge the core students of the Southern Courtyard. The rumors kept spreading, and it was exaggerated to the point that Jianhuo became a peerless brute, with legs as heavy as 1,000 pounds, a body refining expert. As for Yang Chen, he became a genius swordsman, a Ancient Millennium talent, making the Southern Courtyard feel inferior to the other three courts. These rumors even reached the Inner Court and New District. Yu Shaoshang, known as the Innocent Devil of the Eastern Courtyard in the New District, went to the architectural woods to find her friend, Lingy. Yu Shaoshang had cultivated her family's weapon technique, the Innocent Finger to the Peak. Known as the Innocent Devil, she is one of the 4 legendary beauties of the Eastern Courtyard and the New District. "Lingy, you're working too hard. Can't you take a break?" Yu Shaoshang saw Lingy, her face cold, still practicing, and couldn't help laughing. Lingy faintly smiled, as if already knowing the other's intention. "Is there another challenge from some talented elder?" "I have already said that I will not participate in such things. I know that you're proud and look down on those kinds of things." Yu Shaoshang chuckled. "But today, I'm in a good mood. Do you know why? Just now, the old man finally agreed to teach me the slow wind hand. It's a mid-level mystic technique and it matches my spirits very well." Lingy also smiled. "It is indeed a joyous event. It seems like your status has been rising in your master's eyes." Yu Shaoshang nodded, but suddenly recalled something. "I heard about something that happened today, it's hilarious. The Southern Courtyard has lost so much face." Lingy was clearly interested, asking, "Why? What happened to the Southern Courtyard?" "The elite disciples of the Southern Courtyard were beaten by two outsiders. I heard they were beaten to a pulp. Strangely enough, those two are not very powerful. The strongest is only at the 3rd level of the true martial realm." The Innocent Devil described the scene vividly, as if she had been there. Lingy raised her beautiful eyebrows, thinking, "That's strange. Most of the young talents in Tian Nan City are at the academy. Could those two be geniuses from other places? That makes sense." The Innocent Devil agreed. They could be powerful disciples from other places who came to Tian Nan for some experience. Oh, those two somehow angered the Southern Courtyard and declared that they will challenge the core students of the Southern Courtyard. I'm very curious, given that they are at the 3rd level of the true martial realm, how could they be so arrogant and challenge the powerful core disciples? Lingy nodded slightly. "By the way, one of them left his name. It's Yang Chen." Hearing this, Lingy, who had previously been uninterested, was suddenly jolted, her voice trembling slightly. "Shaoshang, who did you say it was?" "Yang Chen." The Innocent Devil, who had never seen Lingy like this, was immediately curious. "Lingy, do you know them?" Lingy seemed not to have heard Yu Xiaoshang's question, her face was lost in thought. "Xiaohong, why are you here so soon?" Lingy, showing a rare childlike side, touched her left chest. Today she was wearing a special lingerie with a withered 3-life flower inside. After a moment, she looked back. "Shaoshang, are they just the two of them? I heard they came with a normal disciple of the Southern Courtyard called Jinghan." The Innocent Devil understood that Lingy must know those two arrogant boys. "I have to go out for a bit." After saying this, Lingy quickly left the architectural woods with the Innocent Devil in shock. The stunned Innocent Devil looked at Lingy's departing figure, unable to understand what was going on. What did that mean? Was she going to steal her prey? Lingy left the eastern and new districts, heading straight to the Southern Courtyard. Jinghan, who was initially worried about being rejected by the Southern Courtyard, was surprised to find that many female disciples were eager to ask about Yang Chen and Jianhuo. Even some elders of the Southern Courtyard were curious about the arrival of Yang Chen and Jianhuo. Jinghan, who was walking back to his small courtyard, was just about to rest, when suddenly he heard a knock on the door. Feeling annoyed, Jinghan walked towards the door while muttering, It must be someone else looking for young Chen and Jianluck. I didn't expect those two to become famous so quickly. Jing Han opened the door and was immediately stunned. Standing outside was a beautiful woman, with a gentle smile, wearing a pure white dress emanating an ethereal and calm aura. You are. In Jing Han's memory, there was no such outstanding female student in the southern courtyard. Hello, I'm Qian Lingxi. Where are Yang Chen and Jianluck? Qian Lingxi seemed calm, but she was actually very anxious. She was curious as to how Yang Chen and Jianluck came to the city. Did her father come too? They are at the sword practice field. Qian Lingxi was very familiar with the sword practice field. She and her father spent a lot of time there before. Let's go. Qian Lingxi said, and the two left Wu Academy, heading straight to the lonely mountain town outside the city. When they arrived at the foot of Lonely Mountain, the entire town was covered by night, and many houses were lit up. As they entered the sword practice field, Qian Lingxi and Jing Han ran into Jing Yuluo, who was about to head out. Jing Han was about to explain, but Jing Yuluo ignored him, staring intently at Qian Lingxi, scanning her up and down. If she looks as good as your mother, she definitely stole those brats' souls. Jing Yuluo said in a tone that was seemingly unpleasant. Jing Yuluo noticed that Qian Lingxi seemed to be a bit nervous. She quickly led the way. She remembered that this person was her mother's old rival. Let's go see your father. After a brief moment, Jing Yuluo left on her own. As Jing Han led the way, Qian Lingxi saw Qian Boguang sitting at the tea table. Father. Qian Lingxi rushed toward Qian Boguang and immediately could not help but gasp in shock. On the way, Qian Lingxi had learned from Jing Han that for some unknown reason, her father had regressed in cultivation. Heaven. My daddy is a cultivation expert. And heaven is treating him this way. You can't fight the heavens, there is nothing to be sad about. Hearing her father's familiar tone, the originally sad Qian Lingxi could not help but laugh. She didn't know whether to cry or laugh. After a while, Qian Lingxi looked at Yang Chen, who was giggling on the side, and she became angry. Suddenly, Qian Lingxi flashed beside Yang Chen, and grabbed his ear with lightning speed and scolded furiously, "How did you take care of my dad? You still dare to laugh? You still dare to smile?" Yang Chen, whimpering in pain, begged, "Lingxi, let go. Let go. Let me explain. I don't want to hear your excuses." Qian Lingxi said with resentment, using even more strength, seemingly wanting to rip off Yang Chen's ear. Helpless, Qian Boguang spoke up. "Lingxi, it's not his fault." Qian Lingxi glared at Yang Chen, then finally let go. "Ah." Yang Chen patted his chest and said firmly, "Lingxi, don't worry, I will definitely be a good son-in-law." "What son-in-law? What nonsense are you talking about?" Qian Lingxi's face flushed red. Then, everyone gathered around the table, and the atmosphere gradually relaxed. Suddenly, a deep sound came from the sky above the sword practice field and came down rapidly. When Yang Chen sensed this presence, he immediately knew who it was. He remembered that when they were in the recruitment event, it was this person who led away the vixen. He was clearly a powerful member of the Duanmu clan. "You shouldn't be here, please return to Wu Academy," the old man said, his expression cold. "What right do you have to tell me what to do?" Qian Lingxi retorted angrily. The old man looked at Qian Lingxi and said calmly, "My duty is to protect you. Please do not leave the city to avoid a sneak attack." After saying that, the old man glared at Qian Boguang and shouted, "You dare to violate the agreement and return to Tian Nan? Are you trying to die?" Qian Boguang chuckled. "Not afraid at all, now that I have regressed in my cultivation, what is there to fear? Duanmu Kuei, get out of the sword practice field for me." At that moment, Jing Yuluo descended with a murderous aura, locking onto the old man. The man did not pay attention to the murderous Jing Yuluo, and looked at Qian Boguang. After assessing his condition, the man was shocked and said, "It's true." Duanmu Kuei paused slightly, "Although you have regressed in your cultivation, it's best not to show up in public. Our Duanmu family doesn't have any problems with that. But if you encounter people from the Shadow Killers, you may have trouble. Also, you should try to have less contact with the young miss." Hearing Duanmu Kuei's words, Jing Yuluo's sharp eyes turned gentle. "Miss, go back to Wu Academy," Duanmu Kuei explained, looking helplessly at the expectant look of Qian Lingxi. "Many people are paying attention to you. If you don't want to bring disaster to the sword practice field, you shouldn't come here. Go back to Wu Academy," Qian Boguang said gently. "Remember what I said. If you want to control your own fate, you need to become stronger." The saddened Qian Lingxi glared at Duanmu family and Shadow Killers with hatred in her eyes. Yang Chen, who was sad to see Qian Lingxi's state, said sincerely, feeling pain at his own weakness, Lingxi, don't let hatred cloud your judgment. We still have time. Time will not let you down. Although Yang Chen's words were subtle, Qian Lingxi understood. Father, I'm going back to Wu Academy. I'll come to see you again. Even so? Qian Lingxi was still reluctant. Qian Boguang nodded slightly, watching the figure of the vixen immerse into darkness. Yang Chen once again felt a sense of powerlessness. At the same time, he recalled what the old man had said, when you are passively suffering, you always feel powerless, always want to gain strength to change everything. But those obstacles are always endless, it seems to be a vicious cycle. What should we do? In this situation, most people would be filled with hatred, and madly try to increase their strength, hoping to break all the shackles, but one's individual strength is limited. Pure strength is also limited. Trainer, this time, Grandpa will teach you something. In addition to pure martial strength, there is another kind of power that can solve many problems. And that is wisdom. Trainer, act after you have thought it through, you need to learn to think while pursuing the peak of martial arts, and you should become a strategist. Yang Chen, who was lost in thought, began to calm down. Seeing Yang Chen in a daze, Qian Boguang sighed in annoyance, Kid, are you stupid? Yang Chen shook his head. Are you feeling uncomfortable and powerless? Are you feeling annoyed? Yang Chen shook his head again. Qian Boguang became more puzzled. Yang Chen muttered, you're not actually dumb, are you? I'm just not used to it, and even want to beat you up. Is there anything wrong with saying that? Don't be afraid of losing face. If you don't know what to do, quickly increase your strength. As long as your strength is big enough, all the demons and monsters can be crushed with one punch. Yang Chen took a sip of his tea. This tea is indeed better than dreamflower tea, it's so refreshing. Qian Boguang was stunned. This kid. He wouldn't have gone crazy, would he? Ignoring Qian Boguang, Yang Chen turned to Jingyu Luo, and said calmly, Jingyu Luo, can you tell me about the general situation in Tian Nan City, including using the major forces, and of course, those forces that are related to the shadow killers, preferably with detailed information. Okay. Jingyu Luo smiled, agreeing readily. He understood Yang Chen's plan. Qian Boguang also understood. Life is like a game of chess, you taught me that. We should treat Tian Nan as a chessboard. All the demons and monsters are on this chessboard. They can't turn the table. Those people are nothing more than a small pawn on the chessboard. In the end, they will all be devoured. Qian Boguang suddenly looked at Yang Chen with different eyes. Kid, you're quite capable. He didn't expect that Yang Chen would want to use Tian Nan as his chessboard and manipulate the situation. This was a level of ambition that even Qian Boguang couldn't reach. Ha ha ha. Qian Boguang laughed heartily as he glanced at Yang Chen. He felt so happy. I should be able to have a good night's sleep. With this disciple, what more can one want? Early in the morning 4 days later, Jingyu Luo delivered a bamboo scroll containing detailed information about the various forces in Tian Nan, including their relationships, grudges, etc. Yang Chen spent the entire day studying this material. After reading it, Yang Chen was filled with respect for his master's courage back then. At the same time, he was also a bit worried. The three most powerful forces in Tian Nan City were the Wu Academy, the Lanmu clan, and the Shadow Killer organization. His master had offended all of them. It was a miracle that he was still alive. Of course, there's also the Rising Star Alliance now. How do I break this situation? This chess game is a bit difficult. During dinner, Qian Boguang teased Yang Chen, seeing that he was distracted. Kid, you wouldn't really want to become a chess player, would you? Yang Chen snapped back, a true gentleman minds his own business. Ha ha. Qian Boguang chuckled. Jingyu Luo also smiled without saying anything. Jian Wuk couldn't understand, and continued to eat his meal. My lord, Jingyu Luo whispered to Qian Boguang, I heard that your uncle's little girl in Tian Nan was ambushed. She was poisoned by the deadly spirit flower. She has lost all her martial arts abilities. You should go and visit her. The expression on Qian Boguang's face immediately turned serious. Deadly spirit flower poison. He finally remembered that his uncle did have a daughter, who should be about the same age as Chen Lingxi. The deadly spirit flower poison is a heaven-level poison, not to be found in Tian Nan, or even the entire Eastern land. How could the deadly spirit flower poison appear in Tian Nan? The mystic realms were a magical training space. Most mystic realms were small, without any treasures, or even living creatures, but some were not only filled with rare treasures, but also the relics of powerful beings and inheritances. One of the main reasons why the Wu Academy was the most powerful force in Tian Nan was that they controlled the entrances to the mystic realms. Only members of the Wu Academy and inner disciples were allowed to enter for training. Hearing this news, Yang Chen's eyes lit up. This might be an excellent opportunity to break the stalemate. If Yang Chen wanted to play chess in Tian Nan, he lacked power. What he needed was to enter the Wu Academy and become a core student. The key to achieving that lay with the Wu Academy in Tian Nan. The deadly spirit flower poison might be the incarnation of death for others, but for Yang Chen, who possessed the ancient demonic dragon spirit, there might be a way to resolve it. This was an opportunity. With that thought, Yang Chen leaned towards Qian Boguang and said in a concerned tone, "Master, as a junior, how can we not go and see Master's relative when they are facing such troubles?" With a cold laugh, Qian Boguang said, "You want me to lower my old face and beg for your entry into Wu Academy? You aren't even looking at the timing. Your uncle is currently stressed." 10 elders, knowing their misunderstanding, Yang Chen said cleverly, "It's a piece of cake for me to enter the Wu family with Mu Shui. I don't need you help. Actually, I want to try if I can resolve the demonic bloom poison." "Maybe I can." Qian Bogang's eyes widened, "You're talking nonsense." "Really? My 5 spirits are a bit special." The pure-hearted Qian Boguang suddenly remembered, "Right, what are your 5 spirits?" He had never seen Yang Chen's spirits before. Before Yang Chen could answer, Jianwuk seized the opportunity. "My brother's 5 spirits are the number 1 in the world." "What?" Qian Boguang was stunned. He looked at Yang Chen and then at the serious Jianwuk. "Are you both crazy?" "Really?" Jianwuk affirmed, "Last time at the academy, my brother's spirit was revealed. Even the Azure Dragon elders were shocked." Qian Boguang chuckled, "Okay, the number 1 spirit in the world." Yang Chen couldn't help but laugh. He had no choice but to go along with the lie. "Actually, I have twin spirits. One is the serpent force and the other is the number 1 spirit in the world." Yang Chen was shocked that he even managed to lie to himself. Twin spirits. Qian Boguang was stunned. He thought twin spirits were just a legend, never imagining it was true. And that it was right in front of him. Thousands of years ago, the Jade Dragon Emperor, who led the human race to rise, possessed twin spirits, dominating the heavenly continent, and defeating countless powerful demons. What's with that number 1 spirit in the world? Can it really resolve the demonic bloom poison? Qian Boguang was skeptical. After all, a spirit that can resolve poison is unheard of. At least. Yang Chen had no idea about the demonic bloom poison, but the Devourer power of the ancient demonic dragon spirit was truly powerful. With a chance, it's definitely worth a try. Let's go, let's go. Qian Boguang was tempted. If they could really resolve the poison, the relationship with his senior might improve. Qian Boguang, along with Yang Chen and Jianwuk, left the academy and entered the Tian Nan Wu family residence. Qian Boguang was the disgraced disciple of Xujin, one of the 4 giants of Tian Nan Wu family and the head of the northern courtyard. Xujin was known for his temper. He was furious when Qian Boguang went to Tian Nan early and caused trouble. After Qian Bogang's spirit was crippled, Xujin was even more furious. However, he could not take any action due to various reasons. Thus, their relationship was extremely tense and they have not spoken to each other since. After more than 10 years, Qian Boguang returned to the Tian Nan Wu residence. His heart was filled with complex emotions. He was once called a genius, the best in the Wu family. But due to his arrogance, he was hunted by many and was forced to battle with the Shadow Kill leader. He was finally crippled. With complex emotions, Qian Boguang led Yang Chen and Jianwuk to the northern courtyard. 2 young disciples stopped them at the entrance of the northern core region. Only core disciples of the northern courtyard are allowed to enter.